What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on in NFL world? How you doing, Division Rivals? This is Steven Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. Sports Channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you get around to watching this, guys. So, tonight's topic. Brandon Graham. We're going to talk about Brandon Graham's contract. It's not an easy conversation because, look, Brandon Graham, he means a lot to me as a player. I'm a huge fan of Brandon Graham. He's been nothing but, kind of the model player for this organization, to be quite honest, right? I love the young man's story of how he looked like he was going to be one of these first-round busts that was made in terms of the draft choice, and then he kind of got it together, becomes this super productive guy, has this really important locker room role in Philly, kind of starts to, become a symbol almost of the heartbeat of the city. I wish that time wasn't running as short as it is with Brandon Graham, but to be honest, when you look at the contract, it's quite clear that time is really running short for Brandon Graham. So without further ado, let's jump into the details of the contract, guys, and talk a little bit. The basic numbers here. So the basic numbers are his base salary is going to be worth $1.15 million. I would guess that that's pretty close to what the veteran minimum is for a guy of his standing in the NFL. That goes by how many years you have accrued in the NFL and all that kind of thing, guys. So I would imagine the Eagles have to kind of pay him around that figure on his base no matter what. But the majority of his contract, the majority of his cap figure, I should say, is coming from his prorated bonus, which is $8,163,000, and he's got a $100,000 workout bonus. You bring all those things together, and then you end up getting a cap figure of $9,413,000. Just a reminder, guys, that a prorated money, is not money the player's receiving on the current year. It counts against their cap, but the guys already received that money. And it basically, as a cap savings measure, say something like a signing bonus, you got a $40 million signing bonus, and a team basically can then prorate that money over 4 years. The player gets the money directly up front, but towards your cap, you're dividing up that $40 million figure over 4 years. So $10 million in prorated money, if you would, in a contract like that. You guys get what I'm saying here, right? So what's the dead money on this contract? Why is it so difficult to separate from Brandon Graham inside of the 2022 season? That's that $26,474,000 dead money hit that would occur, guys. Now, I want to advise something here about dead money and cap and the way it works. I know a lot of you guys, sometimes you ask me, Gate, I don't understand how we have a lot of dead money on a player's contract, but if we release them, somehow we end up saving money towards our cap. How does that work? We got to remember, dead money is just things that you owe back to the league. So basically, if the cap figure is higher than the dead money figure, you're still going to get money back towards your current year's salary cap. But if the dead money exceeds your cap figure, then you're going to lose money. It's really as simple as that, guys. It's no more complicated than that. So what is the loss we would incur for cutting Brandon Graham or trading him outright? So no designation, you just cut or trade him outright. It would literally cost the Philadelphia Eagles towards the 22 cap $17,061,000. That seems highly, highly unlikely to me to occur. I cannot see how you trade away a guy who still can play when he's in games. And guys, I get the injury risk. This is an older player coming back from a significant lower body injury. I understand that guys are not always the same at this point in their career with this type of injury. I totally get it. Yes, I'm a complete and utter fanboy of Brandon Graham, and I'm outward admitting, that to everybody. But at the same time, I also understand that there's just no way we're going to sink $17 million. That's the majority of pretty much everything that we've created in cap space. That's not going to happen, guys. So, is there a way around this? Can you feasibly get out of this situation? You could. You could feasibly by using a June 1st designation. See, when you June 1st designate it, basically what you do is that any dead money that's owed in the current year becomes due this year. So for this instance, guys, you're talking about the $8,163,000 would be due, right? So if you take that above the $9.413 million that's on the cap, you can see the dead money is less than the cap, so of course you're getting back a little bit of money. In essence, you're getting back $1,250,000 if you June 1st cut him or you June 1st trade him. I would imagine the next question that a lot of you guys are going to ask is, Gate, why would a team trade for Brandon Graham's contract and the age of the player, all that? I think it depends upon if there's a real, true Super Bowl competitor. Because if you're acquiring Brandon Graham's contract, it's not that bad. Mind you, we owe the prorated money, not an acquiring team. So they ain't got to worry about all that craziness when it comes to the contract. All they got to worry about is that base salary and the workout bonus and any other additional bonus money that would kick in after they acquire the contract, like an option bonus, which does exist on this contract. So we do have to be a little careful with that option bonus stuff. So another team acquiring Brandon, Graham would get him for basically $1.25 million. They're going to get him for the workout bonus that he's due and the base salary that he's due. So for a team that may want a veteran pass rusher and a guy that's as skilled as Brandon Graham, if he's coming back 100% healthy, it does kind of make sense. I can see that happening. The thing is with the Eagles, you're not going to use, so you only get 2 of those tags before June 1st. So you can either use them on a cut or you can use them on a trade, right? You only get 2 of those, though. So you got to be careful. Like, is it really worth wasting one of those tags, basically, those designations, if you will, for $1.25 million? To me, that seems like a really, really irresponsible move on the part of the front office if that were to occur. Now, can something happen post-June? Sure. I mean, say the Eagles are satisfied with the draft and they think one of these young guys they pick up in the draft, or they go out in free agency and they pick up some guys along with the draft and they just feel really secure about where they are with Josh Sweat and everything, and they feel like, okay, like, with you got Milton Williams who gives you that inside-outside versatility. We got Teron Jackson who came on. We signed some free agents. We drafted some guys. I feel like we're in a really good place. But say we need, I don't know, a linebacker, or we need this position group, or we need a veteran receiver, and this team's got a plethora of receivers. We got a plethora of pass rushers. I can see that post June 1st happening, right? Like coming together almost for a player-to-player type swap, or using Brandon Graham plus some additional draft picks in 23's draft to pluck a receiver or pluck, you know what I mean? Like that kind of ordeal, pluck a linebacker. Sure, I mean, like that way I think it does kind of make sense when you're already past June 1st, because then you're not designating it early. You can use that as many times as you like between then and the start of the new league year. So in terms of that, guys, it makes a ton of sense. There's a whole lot you can do. You got that time from basically after June 1st, so June 2nd, to the trade deadline to make such a move like that. And I wouldn't rule something like that out necessarily happening, although I do think that the possibilities are quite small for that. I highly doubt it does happen, but, never say never. It's one of those situations, guys. So the money, like I said, guys, if you work it out, what ends up happening is you're only really eating that prorated money in 22, which is $8.163 million, and then basically the only thing that's left on the contract for the acquired team to get is the base and the workout. So you just do the math, guys, and you can see you're quickly coming away with a $1.25 million savings, whether you June 1st designate it as a cut or a trade, or you just wait until after June 1st on June 2nd or later to do the same exact move, trade or cut the player. So that's kind of the way this situation works in terms of the cap space, guys. Just some other generalized notes. There are 3 void years left on Brandon Graham's contract that runs through 24 through 26. Part of the way they prorated money, guys. So that's part of the way they're paying back some of this money that they've already paid the player, but is due to the league. Those are called void years, or more commonly referred to as dummy years on the contract. He's got 3 of them, and he has a $6.25 million option bonus that does. I don't know if it kicks in this year or next year, but there's certainly an option bonus that does kick in on the contract at some point. To me, this contract is very clearly, when you look at the numbers and the underlying stuff that's going on here, it was built the entire time for us to separate from Brandon Graham in 2023. They envisioned him being here in 2021 and 2022. Things didn't work out in 21 due to injury. Clearly, it's set up where, it's a 3-year deal, but it's really a 2-year deal. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all's time and attention. Don't forget to hit that like button if you like the content, and I'll catch you guys on the next video, guys. Tomorrow morning, 9:05 a.m.